YouTube, it's Marita, and welcome to another edition of the Nurse Lounge. And today we're actually going to talk about my DNP journey. Or actually an update. I have not updated you all probably since maybe 6 months or to a year or so. So I just want to kind of give you an update about what's going on with my doctoral journey. It's been so much. So I am at this very end of my DNP journey, my program. And I was supposed to graduate next month, but they have canceled graduation, as you know why. Right now, we don't have a date as to when we graduate. I'm not sure it's going to be. Will we be able to walk with the July, or will it be December, or are they going to have an alternate date just for us for the May graduates? I honestly do not know what they're going to do. So that's very frustrating. Plus, we were supposed to present my presentation on April 21st, but that has now been canceled. So we are going to present via Zoom, but at the same time, I'm not sure as to when. They won't give us dates for that either. So I just wish they would have dates for us. It's been an exhausting journey for the past 3 years to complete this doctoral degree. In case you all don't know, I'm a registered nurse, will be 16 years this year, and I am about to finish in about 2 weeks my doctoral journey. I will be a doctor nurse, shall I say. This has been a long time coming. So since the last time we spoke regarding this, I am down to my last 2 classes, and my classes are DNP project completion, which is where you actually complete your project and you disseminate, you gather your data and you put it together into a presentation. So whether it be in a paper format, poster format, or whatever we need to do, or whatever we're required to do, you have to present your what you've been working on for the past so many, basically year or so. So I actually came up with my project back in January of 2019. I went through the whole IRB process, which is a daunting process. I then had to revamp my project about 4 to 5 times just to come back and do what I originally wanted to do. So I had to scrap that work. I wouldn't say start over because I already had so much I've already done, 6 months worth of work done. So I've been working on this project now for about 18 months with my project, my preceptor, my advisors, things like that. And about a month ago, we get an email from our primary advisor saying that she could no longer be our advisor, and we had to have a new advisor. So here we are scrambling, trying to get that taken care of, to get a new advisor. That's been taken care of, it's fine, but I've had to revise my project so many times based on the new requirements of this new advisor. That again is very frustrating. So I'm happy to say that, again, this is my 3rd revision. I haven't did it yet. I plan on working on it probably tomorrow, but I will be finished in the next couple of weeks. And so I will defend or present or disseminate my research sometime this month. And at that point in time is when I will have the title of doctor in front of my name. So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited that this is finally coming to an end. I had looked forward to going back to campus to present on April 21st, but of course that has been canceled, like I said before. But it is what it is. So it's kind of like, what can I do about it? Nothing, pretty much nothing. And I hate the fact that this whole situation is in limbo. I haven't ordered my cap and gown yet because of the fact that, well, I don't know when graduation is going to be. So I just feel like there's no rush in me ordering something that I have no idea when graduation is. And so I know it won't be in May, so I will order it probably in the next couple of weeks or so, my cap and gown. And I'm looking forward to that. And I was looking forward to graduation. And some people were like, well, it's not really a big deal. But to me, it's a very big deal. We get hooded. How many times do you get to walk across the stage to say you're doctor such and such? So for me, it's a very big deal. And I'm looking forward to that occasion to be able to go ahead and do so when the time arrives. So I will order my cap and gown soon. Luckily for us, they are going to confer our degrees in May. So with that being said, that's wonderful because it means we can all move forward to whatever our next career goals were to be, because we'll actually have our degree say May, even though we're not going to walk until whenever we walk. So anybody who is thinking about going back to school to get their doctoral degree as a nurse, these are my recommendations. And I have a lot. First and foremost, know what your project's going to be. when you first apply to these programs. So not what it's going to be, because they're going to try to modify it a few different ways based off of how concise it needs to be based on the time limit that you have to get your data collected and do your research. But have probably about 2 or 3 topics that you really are passionate about, and make sure those topics are something that you could deal with for the next 18 months to 2 years. If it's something that you feel like you cannot deal with talking about this for the next 18 months to 2 years, it's not a good topic for you. Also, go ahead and do some preliminary research to see is there enough articles or research out there on the topic that you choose. I say that because of the fact that I've had a lot of colleagues or other students who they had a great topic, but there's not enough research to support it. So therefore they couldn't really do anything with it, and they had to go change midway. And you don't want to have to do that. So definitely find your topics that you're interested in. Have about 3 or 4 topics that you're interested in. So when they go in, and if you have to interview like I did, I interviewed for my spot. That was one of the questions that they asked me, is what did I want to do for my major project? And so I told them. So that, and they really liked it. So be prepared for that. Another thing, going backwards, you will likely have to interview for your spot. At least I did. I'm not sure if everybody has to interview for their spots for doctoral programs, but I did. In case you have to interview for your spot, make sure you go in again knowing your topic. Go in knowing your topic. Go in knowing, you know, how to answer certain questions. It's kind of like an interview like it would be for a job, but knowing how to answer those questions, and go ahead and practice that. You will need to go ahead and have a personal statement, you know, probably already written for your application process. So be thinking about what your personal statement is, or what your philosophy is for either education or for leadership or whatever you happen to be in. Think about what your personal statement would be as to why you should be in this program. Have that thought out already written out. If you have a master's program already did, you probably already have a personal statement of some kind. Just be ready to tweak that personal statement to fit to what you need to fit to present to whoever you're trying to apply to. So what I typically did was I went and looked at the School of Nursing's mission statement and their vision statement and then their values. And I tried to make sure that what I wrote in my personal statement or what I presented at the interview matched what they said. So I would be able to demonstrate or discuss how it is my values, my mission, my goals actually aligns with their mission statement for their program. And that kind of says to them that you've been researching at least what their program is about and what their outcomes are hopefully to be once you finish the program. So that's definitely some good advice for that. Another thing is always have a plan in terms of find out what the requirements are regarding clinicals. I had to do a total of 660 hours of clinicals, which I am done. I finished my clinicals last week. So 660 hours I had to get done for the course of my program. And with those 660 hours, they had to be in certain formats, certain, you know, kinds of people. So you need to find out, can it be an MD that you shadow? Does it have to be a nurse practitioner? Does it have to be somebody with a DNP? Or does it have to be somebody who's in a leadership role or executive role or whatever it happens to be? Find those questions or find out the answers to that. Also, preceptors. I have stressed to so many people who are coming into the program after me, or just colleagues that I know who are going to school, or nurses who I know who are going to school. If you have to have a preceptor, you need to find about 3 or 4 of them about a year in advance. And not to the extent of having them sign something, but to the extent of saying, hey, next year I'm going to need a preceptor. Would you mind being my preceptor when that time comes? And that way you already have some ideas about who you can ask. It's very hard to find preceptors that meet what the School of Nursing wants, your program wants, and also someone that you could readily find that's available that you can mesh with, because you will be with these people for a while. And in my situation, I had my preceptor lined up, but I have 2 preceptors. My first one, my main one, she ended up stepping down from her position, which means she was no longer a candidate to be my preceptor, because I needed someone who was in that executive leadership position, like a assistant director of nursing or director of nursing or some kind of position like that. She stepped down for that position. So as a result of stepping down from that position, I could not utilize her. So luckily I had another preceptor that I was using, but I still had to find a replacement for her. Because what I found was, for me personally, and you have to find out if this is okay with your program if you can have more than one preceptor. If she didn't have anything for me to do, this one over here did. So therefore, I didn't have to wait on trying to get hours and things like that, because I would just go with one or the other based off of who had something for me to do. And plus, they provided two different perspectives of how to do similar jobs. So, excuse me, that really helped me tremendously to see how this institution did it versus this institution does it, or this facility versus this facility does it. That was great insight for me, and I can take from both of them and then say, okay, you know what, I'm going to now use these techniques in my own practice when I actually become Dr. Marita. So, you know, that was wonderful. But I'm telling everyone, get you your preceptors or have people in mind that you've talked to at least a year in advance. That way it's not so hard for you to find someone at the last minute. Because keep in mind, at a certain point in time, everybody's looking for a preceptor. So if everybody's looking for one, that means you're going to have to find someone that fits the needs of what your school of nursing or your program wants. So find you good preceptors early. Also, do not procrastinate. Do not get behind. I have found myself from time to time getting behind in either reading or getting behind in either doing assignments, and that will kill you in the end. I haven't failed anything, so that's not an issue for me, but be mindful that, you know, if you are one of those who like to put things off and put things off and put things off, that it could hurt you in the end with your grades and things like that. Another tip, make sure you learn APA. APA is basically how we write in terms of how we do our references and how we set things up in our papers and things like that. So make sure you know how to do APA and follow the edition that you are supposed to follow. Right now, the 7th edition has come out, but because I am about to finish, I'm grandfathered into the 6th edition, which means I don't have to change anything for my paperwork. So, or my program, or my project. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't have to change anything. So learn APA. The one other big tip I wanted to talk about is working. Most of these programs are actually catered to the working nurse already. However, I will say for me personally, I had to, when it came to those clinical hours, and I had to have 660 hours done, and because I have clinical preceptors that work during the week and not on the weekend, I had to not work during the week as much so that I could get my clinical hours done. That created, I wouldn't say a hardship for us, but we had to budget and basically, you know, oh gosh, I mean, I wouldn't say we struggled, but we had to budget, and we had to, you know, I lost, I'm gonna be honest with you. By me doing clinicals, I lost $3,500 a month of income so that I could do my clinical hours. So that's the sacrifice that I had to make. $3,500 per month of income that I personally lost per month. And I actually added that up, and that actually adds up to be about $46,000 that I've lost since last May or June until this May. You know, graduation would have been again next month. So about a year, I lost $45,000 worth of income because I had to start clinicals, and I started clinicals last summer, and we've done clinicals since last summer. So be mindful of that. You may have to make some adjustments. You may have to save. You may have to put money back. You may have to not do things. Unfortunately, my kids could not do their extracurricular activities. I had to pull them out of basketball and soccer because we had to cut costs. So that's just something for you to think about. If you are able to work full time, which some nurses still are, because maybe they're working full time on the weekends or doing whatever they do. But no matter what, it's a sacrifice to your family, to yourself, to whoever, to your time, to your work. It's a sacrifice. Another thing is children. So going through a doctoral program with small children can be difficult. When I started my program, my son was 5 years old. My youngest son was 5 years old. And I thought that was an appropriate time to start the program. And because he was 5 and he's going to kindergarten, things like that. If you can wait a little longer to a little bit older than that, maybe 7 or 8, I highly recommend you do so. I don't think I realized how much work that we as parents have to do with our children in terms of helping them with their work. So it was very difficult to help them with his work. And then I have an older son who, when he was 5, so the other one had to be 8, and helping him with his projects and his work, and me doing my work and me learning this program as well. Prior to this degree, I graduated in 2008 with my master's degree. So I have been out of school for a very long time. So from 2008 to 2017, I had been out of school. So it was an adjustment for me to get back into the scheme of things, shall I say. in terms of learning how to get back into a groove again. And so, with that being said, having a small child who is still in school or starting kindergarten and trying to learn how to do these different things, I found that to be quite difficult. So, if you can wait till they're a little older, I highly recommend you do so, or just have a lot of help on hand to um, in order to someone help the child while you are studying. For us personally, I can't say this is true for everybody. There's a lot of sacrifices that had to be made, which means there's a lot of trips and things that I could not do because of the fact that I had to focus on school. And these programs cost a lot of money and you have to focus on things like that. So be prepared to not be able to do some of the things that you're used to doing. I didn't travel quite as much. However, I was quite social locally. So instead of traveling, this is part of my self-care as well. I would go to concerts and I would go to shows and plays and comedy, things like that, which leads me to self-care. When it comes to self-care in a doctoral program or a nursing program or any kind of program like that, you have to find ways in order to take care of yourself, not only physically, but mentally. I started in 2017, and in that same time, I started my weight loss journey in January of 2018. So I started school in July of 2017. In 2018, I started my weight loss journey because I was determined not to eat my way through this program and be big as a house by the time I graduated. And so I am happy to say, now that we're in quarantine, I've probably gained like 5 or 6 pounds, but outside of that, I'm happy to say that I have lost so much weight along the way. And it's because of the fact that I was able to use going to work out as a way to release and get stress off of me while I'm working on this program. So find a way to have outlets where you can either go out and be social or go work out. I do recommend you work out regardless, if it's like 2 to 3 times a week. Get that heart pumping and things like that. Get that oxygen to the brain. And I also found that when I worked out and came home, I could actually focus on school stuff better, at least for that initial hour or two, while you still have that adrenaline and those endorphins going and that oxygen to the brain. I was able to see mistakes that I made in papers that I couldn't see before I went to go work out. So for me, working out really helped me with mental clarity. So I was able to see things that I could not see before and was able to make corrections and things like that. So I definitely recommend you having some type of self-care regimen that you will take care of yourself. If you can go out of town and travel when this lets up, then feel free to do so. Some other tips. I would say make sure you have everything together, like your internet, Wi-Fi, because most of these programs are online, or decide whether you want an online program or a on-campus program. Mine was a hybrid program, meaning that I spent majority of my time online, but then at the same time, I went to campus once a semester for about a week or so for classes. So be able to budget that into your time and time off from work and your travel and things like that. So I had to kind of be mindful that I needed to take off for a week because I had to travel to get to my school. And I have plenty of vlogs from the times I have been, so I probably will link that playlist, that DNP playlist, so you can kind of go through and see my journey as I've been going. This being the finale, or not, this is not the finale, because I do plan on, whenever graduation happens to be, which may be sometime this year, completing this with the graduation ceremony so y'all can see that it did come to fruition, that I did graduate and things like that. And I'll show you all the degree once I get it. But again, you have to have a way to get through this program. Another recommendation, I don't have anything written down, so this thing's coming to my head as I talk here. Find you what I call accountability partner. There's this one student, we all started off together in 2017. And me and this one student really kind of gravitated towards one another, where she would always text me with a question, and I would, my second year, I had said, look, you are going to be my accountability partner, and every week or every assignment or every whatever happened to be, we would check in with each other for questions, or did you read this? Did you read that? Did you submit your discussion forum? Did you do these type of things? And that really helped keep me on track. In addition to that, it kind of pushed me that I knew that she's going to be checking on me, so I needed to already have my stuff done. And then here we are at the very end of our program, and we are still our accountability partners, meaning that she will send me her work for me to review, for me to catch mistakes that she may not see, and I send her my work for her to review, and she catch mistakes that I don't see, and then we submit it to our instructors. So those are just some good tips that we did. Having an accountability partner for me was great. And you can have more than one, But I just feel that when you have that one student or one person that you can connect with, and they're non-judgmental, and they're, you know, they're not trying to put you down because you don't talk like them or you don't do APA as well as them. Whatever I was strong at, she gravitated towards me. Whatever she's strong at, I gravitated towards her. So we balanced each other in that sense. So I just feel that for me was very, very helpful. So I just want to say that, you know, find you an accountability partner that's going to help keep you on track and on task when need be. So that's one thing. And then, of course, like I was saying, you know, a lot of these things are already new, but I always say find you somebody who already has the degree that you're trying to get. Or maybe I got a DNP, or I'm getting a DNP. Maybe you want to get an EDD, or maybe you want to get a PhD, or whatever you want to get. Whatever it is you want to get, find somebody in that field, or some, you know, and ask them, what is your number one suggestion for getting through a program like this? I asked people that, and I wrote those things down. When I did that, I would go to that list from time to time to make sure that, okay, one person said, do not get behind. So I made sure I did not get behind. Somebody else said, make sure you get your preceptors early. I made sure a year in advance that I was getting my preceptor. So I'm trying to give you a few of those tips that they gave me, but definitely go find you a mentor, a doctorate mentor, someone who's going to guide you through the process, someone who's going to tell you resources to use. And I had to take epidemiology in my program. I am not good with statistics at all, but I got an A in that class. And I did so because I had to be diligent, and I had to be aware and be honest with myself about how poorly I am when it comes to statistics. I got myself a tutor, an online tutor. I got myself the study guide, the help books. I went through problems. I went to the library even, which brings me to another point. Sometimes, especially when you have kids or you have a spouse or significant other or people in your house, sometimes you have to find a place in which you can work and work alone, and you won't be distracted. For me, that was the library. So I often went to the library, especially for that class, epidemiology. But here lately, especially with my project, I had my kids saying, mama, mama, mama. That's all I would hear. So I needed to go somewhere where I could actually focus on my work and not be distracted. So I got more work done that way. So sometimes you have to find either an office to lock yourself into, or for me, I had to go to the library to actually separate myself from everybody else. So that was another tip that I have. But I guess I could go on and on about these tips, but that's just the gist of them. Just find you someone that you could have as a good mentor to kind of guide you towards what you need to do to make this process that much easier for you. This is definitely a journey for sure. This has been a journey for me for sure. There's been a lot of tears, a lot of I want to quit. I'm at the point even today as I speak, as I do this video, that I would like to quit. I'm so over it. However, I'm like 2 weeks or so away from having a title change, so I'm not going to quit. But I'm just saying it's normal to feel frustrated like that. It's normal to get discouraged like that. It's normal to feel like you're overwhelmed, which I feel that way now. But we have to stay focused, remember why you started, and remember what your end goal is supposed to be. So hopefully this won't be, well, actually this will not be the last video for my DNP journey. This is going to be hopefully the second to last, unless I have an update for you. Actually, I will have an update for you because I will be doing my presentation here in the next couple of weeks, so I'll give an update then. But I would like to see you all, I would like to bring you along on the rest of this journey with my presentation at some point, and then whenever graduation happens to be this year. So hopefully you can see the finished product of me graduating sometime this year. Again, I don't have exact dates. They haven't said whether we're going to have our own separate graduation, or they're going to let us walk in July, which is the next graduation, or December, which is the one after that. So I have no idea what's going to happen, but nonetheless, I'm very excited about what's going to transpire, and that my title will change sometime in the next 2 weeks. So if you have any questions about my DNP journey, or you are thinking about pursuing your doctoral degree as well, please comment that below. Feel free to inbox me, send messages, go to my IG page. It is linked at the banner at the top, the Melanin RN_MPN. It is linked at the top, and you can go there and, for one, go over there and follow me on IG. And also you can go ahead and ask your questions there if you don't feel comfortable asking them in the comment below. If you are already here, you know I'm a nurse, you know I'm on my doctoral journey, you might as well subscribe. I want you to like, comment, and share this video, because of you doing that, there are many people who you're reaching who you don't even know who are helping to find my channel, number one, and number two, they're probably going through something similar that I'm going through, that you may be going through, that some of my videos, if not this one, can help them with. So anyway, thank you for allowing me to share my journey with you on this platform. Until the next time, I'll see you at graduation. Take care. Bye-bye.